Hey, in today's video, I want to compare $700 in-ear monitors, which are custom made, with $70 in-ear monitors, which are bought off the shelf from Amazon. I'll see you inside the video. Hey, it's James here from eBassGuitar. Now, through some weird coincidence, a few weeks back, I got two sets of brand new in-ear monitors through the post on exactly the same day. One was a set of custom-made ACS Evolve headphones, which cost around the $700 mark. The other was a set of CCA headphones, which cost around the $70 mark directly from Amazon. Today, I'm going to be looking at the differences so you can decide which will best suit your needs. Now, in-ear monitors started to become commonly used back in the late 80s when you saw artists such as Cliff Richard and Tears for Fears using them. There's this incredible piece of footage out there where you see Phil Collins, where he's the only guy in his band Genesis using in-ear monitors, and he's very quietly smug because he feels he's got this superior sound to the rest of the musicians. Now, not so long back, I wrote a guide and made a video called In-Ear Monitors for Bass Players, getting started using headphones live. So if you're new to this technology, I recommend checking that out. But in short, the benefits of using in-ear monitors are increased clarity and reduced staged volume. So if you're having trouble hearing yourself on stage, this could be a great solution. But as I alluded to earlier in this video, traditionally in-ear monitors were only in reach of big, famous rock stars with huge budgets. But the incredible thing is, over the last 10 years, this technology has really come down in price to the point where pretty much every single gig I do is on in-ears. And the great thing is you can do exactly the same thing too. So let's talk about the headphones themselves. These are ACS headphones. They have 3 drivers in there. They call them armature mini drivers, and they are molded in custom silicone. Now that mold is an impression of my ears. Now this gives me a great fit, and the point of in-ear monitors is to start blocking out the outside noise so you get much more clarity. So what we've got here is an absolutely incredible fit which goes on in my ears like so. So let's look at the CCA headphone now. Now this is made out of a blue generic plastic mold designed to fit anybody's ears. On the end of it are ear tips here. Now the ones which come with it are made out of rubber. I've changed these to foam so they will expand into my ears so that you will get a much better fit. Drivers wise, there are a ton more drivers in there. This is a 6 driver headphone. So there's 1 dynamic driver, which is, I guess, is a big bass driver, and then 5 of these armature mini drivers in there. So box wise, the CCA headphones come in a cardboard box like that. Looks pretty, but I know it won't stand the test of time. But the ACS headphones come with this beautiful case here with my name written on the front like that. And inside there, you have a headphone adapter, earwax removal tool, and some lubricant if you need a little bit of help getting them inside your ear holes. So let's talk the build quality here. These CCA headphones feel rock solid. They feel really strong. I've got no qualms, maybe because they're only $70 of dropping on them on the floor and treating them a little roughly. But I am mindful these are Chinese built, so the components may be a little cheaper in quality. So the chances are, if you blow something in one of these headphones, you're probably throwing them away in the trash can straight away. So let's talk about the ACS headphones now. Now these are made out of molded silicone, so there's quite a lot of spring to them, which I really like. They feel robust, but being $700 plus, I've always treated ACS headphones with a lot of respect. It's worth bearing in mind that the drivers in these headphones are delicate because they are so small. And the great thing about ACS is if one does blow, you can send it back and get it repaired. Rather than with the CCS headphones, I think if one breaks, you're probably putting them straight in the bin. Now the cable which comes with these headphones is surprisingly important. Now, in the olden days with ACS headphones, the cables were molded and integrated. I'm talking like 15 years ago here. And this would always be where the breaks happened. And what would have to happen is you need to send them back for repair. Now, recently, over the past decade or so, they put these wonderful detachable headphone cables in here, which I really like. Feels strong and solid, this. The cable feels nice and robust as well. It's 1.2 meters long, which is a really nice length. So definite thumbs up for the ACS cable here. So let's talk CCA. Now, I absolutely love this really robust connector they've given it. I'm so surprised to get something of that quality on a $70 headphone. Now, I love these little plastic things that they've put over the top so they hook around your ears. Now, let's go into the cable. The cable is 1 meter long, which personally I find just that little bit too short. It feels like a much thinner quality too. Now, there's something which does bug me about this, is there's no red for right and blue for left on here. So I have had a few troubles working out which headphone is which when I need to move quickly. But all said and told and done, the headphone cable is still working really well. But there's something else I want to draw your attention to. There's a microphone version of the cable too. Now, I've been using this with Zoom meetings and it's really great. It blocks out so much of the external noise if you're meeting in somewhere like a noisy coffee shop, for instance. And certainly with the headphones plumbed into your ears as well, there's a great experience. So for meetings going forward, I'm definitely carrying a set of these in my case. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do these headphones sound? What is the comparison between $700 and $70, particularly as the 70 has a ton more drivers in it? So these triple driver headphones sound great to me. They are balanced and flat across the frequency range as I hear them. So for me, listening to these, I feel like I'm getting a very faithful representation of what the music is doing. Now let's move over to the CCA headphones. Now, conveying what something sounds like is always one of those really tricky things. So for me, because of the increased drivers in this and potentially the way these are designed for a more consumer market, this definitely has more of a smiley face EQ to it. I'm going to demonstrate what that means in just a second if you're unsure. So what this means in practice is they accentuate the bass, cut the mids and accentuate the treble. So it looks like that smiley face, which is often a very pleasing sound if you're just listening to music in isolation. But on stage, if you're trying to get clarity, it can actually make things more difficult to hear, particularly with a really big low end, which starts to get muddy. So right now I'm going to dial in the smiley face EQ using one of the eBassGuitar blues backing tracks. So let me show you what I mean. Let's start the track. I'll go over to the settings now. Let's go to the equalizer. So this is completely flat. All the dials or sliders are in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the bass. Leave that there. And then I'm going to cut the mids. Leave that there. And then I'm going to start to accentuate the top. So what you'll hear is that's a very exciting sound, and it does sound pleasing to the ears. Let's compare it. Let's reset it. So that's the flat. It also boosts the volume a little bit. Go back. Reset once more. So hopefully that gives you a good sense of how I'm interpreting the different sound between the CCA headphones and the ACS headphones. So to make the evaluation which headphones are better, I actually took both sets on a gig a few weeks back and was actually swapping between them probably every 3 to 4 songs so I could hear the difference. It was a bit of a mad rush in the 2 or 3 seconds in between each song to kind of unplug everything and put them back in my ears, but I did it. And the interesting thing is they both sound great, but they have slightly different applications in my mind. So the gig I was on was actually a gig with no bass guitar amplifier there. So the headphones were doing all of the work. So I actually found these had a bigger bass sound to them. So actually, in some senses, these were more pleasing. But when I listened to these always had more clarity to them. Plus, the silicone molds made them much more comfortable because they just sat so beautifully in my ears. The other thing I believe about silicone is it warms up to your body temperature to give you a much better fit. So if I had to spend like 2 or 3 hours wearing these headphones any day of the week, I would always choose these. And this is partly what you're investing in when you're getting custom molds made. But having evaluated both sets of headphones, my preference is always going to be working with a bass guitar amplifier on the deck of the stage. This is there to produce that real proper low end, which I don't believe any headphones can actually really do compared to a 10 or 12 or 15-inch speaker. So what I prefer is the flat sound of these headphones, and these can really focus in on the low mids, which I believe are the important frequencies when working with the bass guitar. Then you can use the amplifier to dial in the fun and that real warmth in the bottom end. So that's what I recommend doing. The other thing to bear in mind is if you're using an amplifier too, you do not need to drive the headphones quite so hard and inject so many bass frequencies into there, so there's less chance of blowing the headphones too. The last thing to consider is with these headphones, you can get them on 24-hour delivery from Amazon. If you can get Amazon in your area, even in the UK with 14-day distance selling, you could get them out the box and evaluate what they sound like. And if you like the sound, keep them. If you don't, you can legally send them back. With these, there's no recourse. So you have to be really committed to them. So you have to go and see an audiologist, and you have to make sure that your ear canals are free of wax too, so they can fill you up with silicone. Then it has to be sent away to a lab, which takes a few weeks, and then the headphones are then made. So it's a much more involved process getting these. But if you're just starting out and wanting to experiment with the world of in-ear monitoring, any day of the week, I would recommend these. These do sound fantastic, and I'm absolutely blown away. For $70, you can get headphones which sound so good. So to wrap up, if you're a pro bass player who's really committed to what you're doing, get some of these. If you're just starting out, get some of these. But let me know, I'd love to know what your experiences are using in-ear monitors. Please do let me know in the comments below. Also let me know if this video has made you consider changing and experimenting using this technology. Cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar.com. I'll catch you next time.